Oh hey gents, this is Noah from Noah's Archetypes, and today we'll be looking at the new Penguin cards that just got revealed. And we'll start with Penguin Champion. This is a water level 5 aqua tuna monster with 1800 attack and 600 defense. Now I just want to mention that Penguin Champion is not necessarily its set name, since this name can be translated into a lot of things like hero, adventurer, champion. So I think they just took the one that was most likely, since hero is an archetype already. So that's probably why it's called Penguin Champion. Its effect says cannot be used as synchro material except for synchro summons of a water monster. You can only use each of the following effects of Penguin Champion once per turn. If a monster becomes set on your field, you can special summon this card from your hand. Then you can decrease its level by 1 or 2. You can target one face down defense position monster you control, change it to face up defense position, but its effects are negated unless it is a penguin monster. Okay, so first thing that we have to see is that it's a level 5 monster and it can special summon itself, so that's pretty cool. The first thing that might be a problem, I'm not 100% sure how this works. It says if a monster becomes set, so that could either mean that you must set a monster in order for this card to be special summoned, or a monster must be reset. In other words, if it was on the field and then you use an effect to set it and then it gets special summoned. But I actually think that it means both. So either you set a monster or a monster that was on the field gets reset, and then this card can special summon itself from the hand. And either way, that makes this card very powerful, since the deck basically revolves around some of the monsters having flop effects. So I do think that having a card that can bring itself out, that is a tuner, is very cool. And obviously it flips one of the monsters face up, so you can use that monster's effect and then immediately go into one of your synchro monsters. So one of the monsters that would be very advantageous is Nightmare Penguin, since it has an effect that's not a flip effect, so you have to flip it manually and then you can return a card to the hand, and it gives a small boost in attack, so maybe that could be handy. And then Penguin Soldier, which is the OG of this deck, and it returns 2 cards to the hand, 2 monsters. So you could return 2 monsters, and then if you reduce this monster's level to 4 using its effect, and then you could basically tune into the synchro monster. So the monster Penguin Brave, which I think is kind of a weird name. I think they should have just called it Brave Penguins instead, or I don't know, Penguin Champions, or I don't know. I understand that they didn't want to go for Penguin Heroes, but Penguin Brave just sounds kind of weird. But this card does special summon a monster from the deck, which is a cool effect, and it's special summon into face down defense position. So it also does have an effect to flip the card face up, which is basically what Penguin Champion does, but in a different manner. And so I think it would be cool if they make 1 or 2 more synchro penguin monsters to kind of, you know, fill out the deck, so that you can have different options based on what level your penguin monsters are. The other thing is that it says you can only go for water monsters, so maybe you could go for a Trishula, since it has generic material requirements, and it does banish the cards anyway, so you won't have to rely on no penguin in order to get some of your opponent's monsters banished. So I do think that whatever water monster you go for, you could really have high advantage. Next up, we have a level 3 water monster called Penguin Ninja, which is a flip monster, and it has 1400 attack and 700 defense. All of the monsters are aqua monsters. So its flip effect says you can target up to 2 spell or traps your opponent controls, return them to the hand. And then you can target 1 penguin monster you control, change it to face down defense position, and that is a once per turn effect. So this card is also very interesting. I really love the artwork. I'm not sure about the naming ninja part, because I think there is already a ninja archetype. So I wonder how they are going to name this in the TCG. Then maybe could just name it Shinobi. So this card actually works well with No Penguin, since No Penguin banishes cards. So if you actually return the spell or trap cards to the hand, it will actually get banished instead. No Penguin can special summon itself from the graveyard, so if you find a way to get it into the graveyard, then when you activate this card's effect after flopping it, you will be able to banish the cards instead of sending them to the hand. And so that actually makes this a very good card, since most of the penguin cards actually return monsters to the hand and not spell and traps. So it's nice to have a different option instead. And they are both level 3 monsters, so you could maybe go into an Xyz monster if you wanted to. I can't say for sure what Xyz monster would really fit well with this archetype, so you'll have to just do a little bit of exploring yourself to see which Xyz monster could fit in this situation if you didn't have any other options. Next up, we have another level 3 water monster called Penguin Priest. Also Aqua, it has 600 attack and 1700 defense. It says if a penguin monsters is sent from your monster zone to your graveyard by an opponent's card, even during the damage step, you can target one of those monsters, discard this card, and if you do, special summon that monster in face down defense position. You can only use this effect of Penguin Priest once per turn. Once per turn, you can target one penguin monster you control, it gains 600 attack until the end of this turn. Also, you gain 600 life points. So we have another water card that can use its effect even during the damage step. So this is similar to the Sue ships, and I really love the way its effect works, because you could basically have a situation where something like a glacial beast polar penguin gets destroyed and sent to the graveyard, and its effect allows you to return any card your opponent controls to the hand. That allows you to bring a no penguin from the graveyard to your field and then banish that card instead. But also then you can reset your glacial beast polar penguin on the field, so that if it gets destroyed again, then you can again return a card from your opponent's side of the field to the hand. There's obviously other options like Penguin Soldier and Emperor Penguin that when set can just return a card to the hand when it is flipped face up. So this also will help you in case your opponent was trying to go for game. If your cards get destroyed, you can just bring one of them back face down. So whatever option you go for, it will actually help you from getting damage. And I like its second effect that increases the attack of a monster, so you do get life points as well, which is just a nice bonus. So either way, you'll be getting a strong penguin and a little bit of life points. So I think this card is very decent. Then we have Royal Penguin's Garden. This card is a continuous spell card that says when this card resolves, you can add one penguin card from your deck to your hand, except Royal Penguin Garden. Once per turn, you can reduce the level of one penguin monster in your hand or face up field by 1 until the end of this turn. Then discard one card. You can only activate one penguin Royal Gardens per turn. So this is obviously a 3 of, because it does help you search out any of your penguin cards from the deck except itself. So that means you can also add spell and trap cards. But the one strategy that you can go for here is adding no penguins to your hand, and you can then discard it with this card in order to reduce one of your monsters levels by 1. Or you could add the Great Emperor Penguin if you already have no penguin in your hand. Either way, you discard no penguin to the graveyard since it can special summon itself from the graveyard. The Great Emperor Penguin is a level 5 monster, so reduce its level by 1 and you can summon it without tribute. Then it says you can tribute this card, special summon up to 2 penguin monsters from your deck except the Great Emperor Penguin. So you tribute this card and then bring out Glacial Beast Polar Penguin, and if this card is special summon, it can target a monster your opponent controls and return it to the hand. Then no penguin will activate when your Glacial Penguin tries to target a monster. It will bring itself to the field. You then banish the monster instead of sending it to the hand, and then you can use these 2 cards to go into your Penguin Brave, who can then special summon a monster from the deck in face down defense position, and if your opponent uses a monster effect, then it will just flip that card face up and then its effect will also activate. And if that is done in your opponent's turn, then you could again use no penguin, since no penguin is a once per turn, and then you'll bring back the monster from the graveyard and be able to banish more cards. So no penguin is very crucial to how this deck works, and I think this is a decent combo, and so I really love this card and I think it's very crucial to this deck. And then finally, this is coming out in a different set, but we finally got the equip spell card from the anime, and that is Penguin Sword, which is an equip spell, and it says can only be equipped to a penguin monster. The equipped monster gains 800 attack. When the equipped monster inflicts battle damage to your opponent, you can return one card your opponent controls to their hand. If a face-up cards your opponent controls leaves the field by the effect of penguin card and it is returned to the hand or banished, negate the effect of that cards as well as the activated effects and effects on the field of monsters with the same name, original name, until the end of the next turn. And you can only use this effect of penguin sword once per turn. So this is a very powerful card. In the anime it only gave you 800 attack, but luckily in this case it does way more than that. It actually helps you return a card to the hand, so it really fits well with the theme of the deck. And its third effect allows you to negate the effects of cards when it's returned to the hand or banished, so it does take no penguin into account, which I really like. And it negates the effects on the field and of monsters who are the same original name, so it basically just prevents your opponent from using that card's effects at all. So your opponent doesn't gain any effects when that monster is destroyed or banished or returned to the end or anything like that. And I really love that about this card. I actually was expecting this card to maybe flip the monster that it was equipped to back face down. Maybe if the equip card gets destroyed, then it flips the equip monster back face down or something like that. But since we already have a few monsters that have effects like that, I think it's no longer necessary. So this is actually a good improvement on this card, and it really makes the penguin cards very powerful. So one of the things I want to mention is that, as you can see on the artwork, it does not have Nightmare Penguin or Emperor Penguin in the artwork. In the anime, one of those two cards did get the sword instead of the monster that you see there, but this monster does look like either Penguin Knight or Penguin Soldier. They actually have pretty much the same design. So I do think it's Penguin Soldier because Penguin Knight hasn't been reprinted since the very beginning, so its effect actually reads like some of the oldest Yu-Gi-Oh cards, where it says that you should take your graveyard and your deck and combine them to form a new deck, instead of saying return your cards in your graveyard to your deck or something like that. So I would like Penguin Knight to get reprinted, not because it's a very good card or anything. It actually doesn't really fit into the penguin archetype, but it would just be nice for it to be reprinted so that it has some updated text. But this is probably Penguin Soldier, and I love the fact that they used him instead of some of the other cards. So it kind of shows that Penguin Soldier went on a journey and got itself an upgraded sword. I would actually love to see Penguin Soldier go on an adventure through some of the spell and trap cards, so that we already see it getting a sword. Maybe we see another card where it obtains a shield and then some armor in one of the other cards, and basically to show that it went on some adventure and got some powerful armor. And then maybe a synchro monster that has Penguin Soldier with all of its upgraded armor, shield and sword, and then it's just way more powerful. Maybe upon synchro summon you can just return 2 cards on the field back to the hand or something, and when it attacks and destroys monsters on the field, they get banished or something. Just a way to upgrade Penguin Soldier, since it is the OG card for this archetype and it is very important in the Penguin Soldier archetype. So it would really be cool to see Penguin Soldier get some upgraded synchro form. And I would also love to see Bolt Penguin and Flying Penguin, which are just normal monsters, maybe get some retrains, even if they are like put in as the bad guys for this adventure, you know, the opposing penguins to the adventurous penguins. It would be nice to see these guys get retrains, and maybe even a synchro where you get all the bad guys in one card together that has some interesting effect. But if they don't, it's also okay. It would just be interesting to see them again as the retrained monsters. But there are 1 or 2 still outstanding penguins, since we saw the synchro monster have at least 5 penguin monsters and we only got 3 so far. That means there's at least 2 more penguin monsters that we can expect, and I'm sure that they will just fit very well with the cards that we have so far, and I can't wait to try out these cards. But yeah, all of these penguin cards are very powerful, and they really make the penguin deck way better than it is so far. So what do you guys think of these cards? Please tell me down below, and please remember to like and share, and I'll check you guys later.